Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nick Dyson. I am a business major, have an MBA, and also am teaching leadership, personal development, and communication here on the channel. Now, if you clicked on the video, odds are you've probably heard about quiet quitting. What is that? Who is doing it? How do I do it? And what are the results or outcomes or potential struggles? So I'm going to talk about it from a leader perspective, if you are a manager of someone who is quiet quitting or you suspect someone who is quiet quitting, and also from the employee perspective, why people are doing it and what are the pros and cons of that. To summarize it, to get started, let's consider what quiet quitting is. Quiet quitting is essentially with the rise of remote work and people working from home, they are doing just the bare minimum to get by. If, let's say, they work a 40-hour work week and in truth, their responsibilities only take them about 30 hours to do, they're going to fake it those last 10 hours and just get the minimum in to get their paycheck, get their jobs accomplished, and just slide under the radar. At the same time, if this is something where maybe there's a project and there's a due date and people are kind of working and it's a little bit more of a stressful position, this type of person who is quiet quitting is going to do the minimum that they can to get by. They're going to hit their deadlines and accomplish their goals, but they're going to do the bare minimum. They are not going to go above and beyond. They're not going to work extra hours. They're not going to push themselves. They're not going to stress themselves, all in the name of work-life balance or saying that they are not being respected or paid enough to do those things. Now, more on the reasoning in a moment. So, first off, let's go ahead and address the manager and leadership perspective of quiet quitting. So if you are managing someone who is quiet quitting, or you suspect someone on your team may be quiet quitting, this is something that you have to look at as the leader in yourself first. And you say, wait a minute, hold up. They're the ones doing the minimum to get by, and they're doing the just bare necessities of their job. And you're telling me to look at myself first? Yes, so Harvard Business Review actually did a study of employees and asked them, were they quiet quitting? Did they feel they would go above and beyond? Or were they just kind of doing the status quo or just kind of a usual day job kind of scenario? And it found that where the majority of quiet quitters actually are occurring, and the largest number of people that just want to get through their job and maybe they'll do a little bit over but not really stress themselves out and really dedicate themselves to whatever their job is or their task is, occurs in the lowest or worst percentile of managers. Now, hold on, bear with me. I am not saying you are a bad manager or a bad leader. This can stem from several different situations. It can be something that the employee has going on in their family. They feel disconnected. This could be something that there's a lack of communication or connection. You may be a great leader, but you're maybe not connecting with this one employee. They feel disconnected from you. They maybe would start to quiet quit or distance themselves from their job. So there's several different reasons that you can consider and think about the reason that they are quiet quitting. Now, in other scenarios, the employee may have reasons that are completely unrelated to you and you can't truly control those. So be mindful of that. But I think first, take an account of yourself. Look at how you are managing and leading your team, especially if you have a remote team, because this is primarily where this phenomenon is occurring. But ask yourself, are we paying our employees enough? Are we providing them the right support? Are we engaging them enough, communicating with them enough? Are we leading them and developing them well? Because all of those things play into employee satisfaction and how much they are willing to commit and stay focused on their job. Now, I referenced the Harvard Business Review. If you go into the top 10% of rated managers, the vast majority, I believe it was close to 70% of employees that responded to the survey said they would go above and beyond for that manager. So there again, top managers have employees that are dedicated, willing to go above and beyond, work extra hours, and do whatever they can for that manager. The lowest, bottom 10%, had the most people who are quiet quitting or just trying to get their job done, do their tasks, and go home for the day. So you can take that for what it's worth. Now, from my perspective, and I've worked for several different managers in my career so far, And what I've learned is truly the different type of manager will depend on how motivated you are to work. And I will give you an example. So in the managers that I've had a couple that were very strong in leadership characteristics and some that were very strong in manager characteristics. And what this did for me specifically is for the leaders, I wanted to dedicate to them because I believed in what they were doing. I trusted their advice. I knew they were working on developing me. I knew they wanted what was best for me. And if they needed just that little bit extra from me, I was going to do it. I was going to put in that time, put in that effort, and do that for that leader more than just the company. It was more for that leader. Now, on the flip side of that, if I had someone who was more of a manager focused, they were all about tasks and deadlines and do this and processes and all of that stuff. I'm not really motivated in that situation. Yes, I'm going to get my work done. I'm going to do what's required of me. I'm going to meet those deadlines. But if you're constantly bombarding me and micromanaging me on the deadline and when I need to have it done and how I need to do it and all of those things, I'm the type of person that I'm, in my own mind, kind of the type, I'm going to sit there and go, okay, well, I'm going to wait until the last possible minute and send it to you then, because I'm not going to work ahead or early or put in extra time just to get it done, because you're demotivating me by the amount of stress you are putting on me to get this done. So different types of managers, different types of leaders can impact the employee, their satisfaction, and how they're responding to their job tasks. Now, from the employee perspective, here are the top reasons that have been stated for why employees are quiet quitting. So some of the top reasons is lack of pay. We have record high inflation or near record high inflation. Wages are going up very rapidly too, but not to keep pace with inflation. Cost of living is going up, pay is not keeping pace, so they're seeing it as they're working the same or longer for the same or less pay. Even if you've given them a pay raise, if inflation is higher than that pay raise, odds are they're viewing that as they're getting paid less than what they were simply a couple years ago. So keep that in mind. Work-life balance is another. Work-life balance is extremely important to millennials and Gen Z especially. They don't want to work 50, 60-hour work weeks. Some do. Some will put in that time. Some will put in that effort. But more often than not, in the younger generations, the millennials and the Gen Z that are entering the workforce or the main part of the workforce now, that 60, 70, 80-hour work week is not something they will commit to. They want to have pets and family and houses and have personal lives and go out with friends and do all of this exciting stuff. And if they're working in the office all the time, they're not going to be able to go and do that. So you're going to demotivate them to work if you are taking away their personal time or stressing them out of their personal time. So work-life balance is another important reason. Now, another reason that you're going to run into employees who are quiet quitting beyond the manager, leader, work-life balance, and pay is, are they buying into the company's vision, which can also tie into the leader's vision. So if their work is not motivating them, they do not enjoy the work, and they are not enjoying what they are doing day to day, they're not going to commit to it. They're not going to spend extra hours, and they're going to ultimately quiet quit or just kind of be an average employee in a lot of ways. Now, again, don't get me wrong, not everybody fits that mold. There's going to be some that even though they may hate their job, they're going to go to it every day, put in 100% effort, and do everything they can to achieve success. But there again, they're not really happy or satisfied in what they're doing. This is important for leaders out there. So I'm speaking again, leaders and managers of these types of teams. You need to be sure that your employees are in a position and a career path that they enjoy. It may be temporary that they don't like what they're doing, but they're working towards an end goal. Find out what they want to do, what they want to achieve, what are their dreams and their passions. Invest and communicate into them and help develop them to reach their goals. If you do that, I guarantee you your employee satisfaction will go up, your employee retention will go up, your employee dedication as far as them working productivity will go up, and you will have a more cohesive and active team in your company or business. So that's just my thoughts, my perspective based on quiet quitting, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I know, and then also what I'm reading online in articles. You can go and find plenty of YouTube videos, plenty of news articles, everything else about quiet quitting, how it is bad, it's negative, it's good, it's great. You can find any opinion you possibly can want. But I think the fact that quiet quitting is occurring in the first place is a red flag to businesses that there is a disconnect between leadership, management, and the employee. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will like, subscribe, follow along, join me again on this channel as I'm talking about leadership, personal development, and communication. What are your thoughts on quiet quitting? Do you know someone who is quiet quitting? Have you heard of quiet quitting? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.